Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. I'm so glad you could join me today. Most often I greet you by speaking directly to you in the camera. I've had a little eye problem here lately, so I am going directly down to the work surface for a couple. I should be back facing you very soon now. So as you can see, I have a Christmas card here. We had one swap challenge this month for Christmas in July, and so this is the card I've come up with for my swap, and I thought I would share it with you today. It's really a very simple little card, and yet I think really pretty. And so let me show you what it is I've done to do this. It takes minimal supplies. This is a Mossy Meadow Base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then I have two pieces of basic white. The first one is 3.5 by 4 3/4. The second one is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Very small pieces. Then I have two pieces of white scrap, one for our sentiment and one for a strip of this pretty pine paper that we're going to put on the inside of this one. And on this one I decided to go with a bigger piece because I really want it to go all the way up and down the piece there. Then we need one scrap of red to create our bird, and then I have 4 pieces of this designer series paper, and any Christmas designer series paper that has the Mossy Meadow and it will work, but I love this one with the snowflake looking kind of design. And this one came out of one of our new papers coming up in the new catalog. It's called Whimsey and Wonder, and this is the back side of this pretty foiled stripe. And again, these are 2 inches by 1 inch, and we need 4 of them. All right, this is really a very simple little card. So let me tell you what I've used. I used the Wintry 3D embossing folder, and there are 2 of them in this packet, and I don't honestly remember what the other one is, but it's got this beautiful pine cone design, and so I'm using that. I'm using my Mossy Meadow ink. I'm using Memento. This bird also comes from one of the new sets, Beauty of Tomorrow set, and it has these items, and it's one of the big suites out of the new catalog, and it's got this pretty bird in flight, and then it also has the die to cut out the bird. So that is what I'm using, and any little bird, blue bird, red bird, whatever makes your heart sing, would work just fine. So then, let's see, I think that's just about it. So what I did was I used my embossing folder, opened it up, and decided that this is the side that has the pieces that are protruding. So this is the emboss side. This has the pieces that indent, or the deboss side. And all I did was take my Mossy Meadow ink pad and ink this up so that I got ink all over this embossing folder. And probably a smart thing to do to put a piece of scratch paper underneath this so I don't get my surface all dirty, because I do want to make sure that I get the edges of this so that every little bit is inked up, and I'm going to take it off of the edge on this side because I really don't want that paper. Well, the paper's going to fit inside of it, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, and then I'm going to take the smaller of my two pieces, the 3.5 by, I think it's, I can't remember already, 3.25 by 4.5. So that is the paper that I'm going to set down here. And I'm going to set this paper right here on the inside of my embossing folder and close my door. This is 3D, so it doesn't require much, just your base and your embossing plate to run through. And to save a little bit of time, I've already run mine through, but I have, since this is a swap, I have several to do, so I'm perfectly happy to have that to do. What I also did was I took another piece of Whisper White or Basic White that was a little bit larger, and I inked up my folder and put that piece in and then cut that into 1/2 inch strips so that I would have the pieces that I needed for the inside of my cart. So you could use another piece of white to do that. Now let's put this card, oh, the other stamping we have to do is our bird. So let me get that done. And I tried using a lighter ink with this, and I also tried using red ink with this so that I would get tone on tone, and frankly I like the black the best. And certainly can do whatever you like, but I found that getting this inked up here on my red paper and getting a good image down. Oh, I don't have my label on this one yet. Well, it's a brand new set for me, so I just got it. And there is my beautiful little bird, and then using your die to cut that out. And I have, as is my practice, cut several of them just in case I want to do something else. But I have a couple here, and that is all of the stamping of those of the bird. And then we need our sentiment. Lately I've been using stamps from the Snowman Season stamp set, which is in the main catalog. It's carried over from last year, and it's got this pretty little Merry Christmas on it, and then it has this sentiment for the inside: hoping this season builds heartwarming memories. And so I'm using that on my card, and I decided to do that in Mossy Meadow. So we have a little bit of stamping to do for our sentiments. So let me grab my A Pierce mat here, and I've got my Merry Christmas, and oh shoot, I already put it down. Merry Christmas, and get it put here right in the corner so I can trim that up. And there is my Merry Christmas. Isn't that pretty? It's kind of pretty and festive, not too serious. So there's that. And then on this piece for the inside, I put this image, and the way I'm planning to use this strip on the inside, I'm thinking I might put this on this end. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up and get that image put down. There we go. So there is my stamping completed. I've got my Merry Christmas, my inside. We've inked up our panel here, our long panel, and we've stamped our bird. So I think we are now all done with stamping. All right, this is a very simple, very fast little card, and pretty easy to put together. All right, so I wanted the illusion of this beautiful paper to go all the way down here, but I didn't want to use all of that paper. So what I have done is cut these 1 inch by 2 inch strips. Let me get this seal going here so I can put some seal on the inside of this piece and get it set right at the top of my card so it looks like it's running all the way from the top down. Got my little T-square ruler here, and I'm going to set that up so that when I put this other one in place, I know that it will be as though it were continuous strip. It'll be right along that same line. So line that up with the edge of that one and know that this piece of paper needs to go right there across the bottom of my card. Now that is perfectly spaced. Now what I'm going to do is take this piece and I am setting it up on dimensionals. Now you'll notice that I used quite a few dimensionals on this, and the reason is there's a lot of embossing going on, and sometimes you can see it here. It warps the edges of the card, and so I want this to be supported all the way along. And so I'm going to put this into place centered on my card front like this. And see, you've got the illusion of that paper running all the way down your paper. Okay, and I've got 2 pieces for the inside to do that same thing. All right, now we have our Merry Christmas, and what I'm going to do is just trim this Merry Christmas so that it is a rectangle. Always dicey cutting a straight line like this. You can certainly do it with your trimmer. But there's my Merry Christmas, and I'm going to need a dimensional on this side of my message here on the end, and then just some seal down the rest of it so that it will be at the same height as this piece. And I'm setting that right down here on my card. There we go. All right, now we have our bird, and that bird I put a little high. I'm going to move this one a little bit more in the center, and I'm going to put some dimensionals, and I'm going to use some regular size ones as well as a couple of minis so I can support this bird's wings as well as the tail. And there we go. And so I'm going to set my bird right here in the center sort of my card, and there we've got that all ready to go. Then let's see, the only embellishments that I put on this was I used some of our red rhinestones, and I dotted my I in Christmas. And I really thought about just leaving it at that. And that certainly does make a striking Christmas card, but I like bling. So I added a few more pieces around my card and just really kept it to just a few. Maybe one up here. And so there we go. front of our card is done. Now for the inside of our card, we have this little piece here, and we're going to do that same little trick with these pieces of designer series paper. And I'm going to add my seal to the back of that, and I'm going to do the same thing I did in the front and kind of offset it. So I'm setting that right here along the top of that card. Then I'm going to do exactly the same on the bottom. Right along the bottom edge of the card. There we go, the illusion of quite a bit of paper. Now our piece goes on here, and that's not going to go on with any dimension. So you're going to need to write on that one. And let's see, let me put this down centered on my card. Really could have moved those a little bit further over to match the front a little bit. And then I have one little rhinestone that I put on here, but you know, let me put my paper down first. I should have done this before I put that down, unless I wanted to go further across. No, I think I just want it to go along the edge of this. I think what I'm going to do is add my seal and put this in place down the edge of my card. This would have been much easier to do. You'd be smarter than me to trim this off before you add it to your card, to add it to your white piece before you put it in place. There we go. I've got managed to get away with it. And then I'm going to take one little rhinestone and put it right here on this side. And there we go. There's my swap for my Christmas in July. And I know it feels a little bit early. What do you think? Do you need, I think that bird needs to go in there. You know, maybe it does. So I think I'm going to put my bird down on the inside of my card, right down here at the bottom. There we go. Very, very pretty. All right, there we go. There is, like I said, that is my project for the day. This is my Christmas in July swap with one of the groups that I swap with. And so here we go. That is my project. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you could join my team. Let's see, this is July, and my prize draw for the month of July is the Grapevine Design bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies. And you can put yourself in the drawing by making an order of any size on my store, lbedinger.stampinup.net, and you can get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. Well, that's it for me, and I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!